There we go. Good morning, everybody. Tyler here with Power Nail, and we've got Matt on the other side. How you doing, Matt?
Very good, dude. How about you?
Just living the dream, buddy. And you know why I'm living the dream?
I would love to know why.
Well, let me tell you. This is June, and June means
Summertime? Is it summertime?
That's right. That's right. It is. It's time to talk about a roadmap.
Ooh.
Yeah, roadmap 2021, baby. June, focusing on 15 gauge power staplers. We are excited about this month because it is the very first month in our roadmap where we get to focus on our core tools as a company. So far, we've looked at accessories, we've looked at some carpet installation tools, but this month we're finally looking at the big, bad carpet, or not carpet, but wood floor staplers, 15 gauge. So Maddie, why don't you kick us off there and tell us the models that we're going to look at.
All right, man. So these are the core tools that we have. We actually have 4 versions of our 15 and a half gauge staplers. So we've got our, no pun intended, our staple tool, the 445 FS, which is similar to our 445 cleat nailer. Obviously, it just shoots staples and it's the yellow tool. But we've also got the 445 power roller version. And then what we move down to is our 15FS value model. And then we have our 15FS power roller model as well. That's a new feature that we have that has the same roller foot as our 445s, but it's now on our value tool as well, which is going to give you an easier installation with a lot less cost.
Fantastic. That is exactly correct. And we've got some pretty cool videos here later on. We'll get to see each one of these tools in action.
Done by a true pro too, might I add.
That's whenever you're working with them. Okay, so real quick, let's just talk about the staples that these tools use. So Power Nail supplies 15.5 gauge staples. So you'll see 15 gauge and you'll hear 15 gauge, but that's the nominal declaration. The actual gauge there on the staple is 15.5. We've got 1.5 inch, 1 3/4, and 2 inch in sizes that'll help you get the job done.
Please note too, guys, Tyler, if you go back for me on that. So where Power Nail is a little different than what you're going to see out there is our 1 3/4 and 1.5 inch are sold in a 5,000 count box, whereas you'll see those out there in either a 10.3 or a 9.6 thousand count box. But we also offer our 2 inch in a 5,000 count box on top of the 7,700 count. So the beauty with these is, the standard size of jobs that you're installing, these 5,000 count boxes are pretty much going to be able to knock out a job for you. So what you're going to see is a lot less waste from a 10.3 or a 9.6 count box. So if you've done a job like that before and you have, a third of the box left over or even a half of the box left over, what you're going to see is when that box goes back in your van, it's going to get broken, damaged, or squashed, and you're going to have staples fly all over your van. This is really to help you eliminate a lot of the waste when those staples go in there, but also it's going to save you money by not having to buy so much at once, and then obviously with the waste issue. So just to kind of point out that the quantity sizes of our boxes where we differ from what you're seeing out there.
Fantastic. Thank you, Maddie. Let's go on to that first core tool, the model 445 FS. So as Matt had mentioned, this is the standard model of that core professional tool. It's going to drive that 15.5 gauge staple. This tool with the standard base, it will install 5/8 to 3/4 inch domestic species of wood. Made in the USA, it is customizable. You'll see a little later on here, we'll talk about different lengths of handles and also some foot configurations that you can change to make this tool better suit your installation method or just the way that you like to work. It will adjust to those different thicknesses of floor from 5/8 to 3/4 inch, but you'll have to switch out this non-marring pad on the bottom. That's the shim or the foot pad that we talk about. And that just comes off with a couple machine screws, and you can either put a thicker or thinner pad on there, depending on which type of floor you're working with. It is the professional's choice, and these things are built to last. That's model 445 FS. Matt, is there anything you'd like to add there?
No, but just to emphasize, or I guess, yes, just to emphasize, built to last. I mean, truly, this will be the only tool you'll really have to buy, because with the services and parts that we provide you out of our facility, the internals can get replaced and redone or tuned up to really essentially give you a brand new tool coming back to you after we do that. So that essentially, when we say built to last a career, I've seen it out in the field where that the guy has had that tool for the longevity of his installation career. So it'll last longer than you will.
Okay. All right, here. Let's take a look at that tool being used by that professional. Let's kick this off. We'll go ahead and just mute that. What's that, buddy?
This model here, you'll notice it is a pick and lift model, lift and scoop model, I guess. So you don't want to run that across, even though it's a non-mooring pad. It's best, especially if you're doing a pre-finished floor, because you'll never know what's going to get caught in that mooring pad or that shim or whatever, or what's going to be on the floor if you're scooting across there. So it is designed to pick and lift and move over. So you don't want to slide that across the floor to reduce that risk of damage in that surface.
Yeah, you can see where Maddie's just lifting it just a little bit. I mean, he's not pulling it up an extra foot and setting it down. It's just enough to get it up and over and keep it moving. Yeah. And the analogy I like to use on that one is like, finishes on floors are harder than a dog's claws. However, if a dog has a piece of sand under his claws and he goes onto that finish, well, sand, glass is harder than that finish. So you will see those scratches. So you never know what's going to come in on that floor on the job site. So it's just best to pick it up rather than slide it around.
Sure.
All right. Let's move on to the next slide here. Model 445 FSPR. So this has power nails, flex, power roller foot. Maddie, if you want to take us away on that one.
Yeah, so same internals and model as the standard FS foot or tool, but this one, again, as Tyler said, has got our power roller option with the flex foot lever that you have. Again, really, this staple is designed for a 5/8 and 3/4 inch thick flooring. So it will adjust thinner than that, but you're not going to want to install anything thinner than that with those staples. This one is also made in the USA, but is also customizable as well with different length handles as well. Again, we mentioned that it's got the power roller foot on there to really designed to really take the pressure and pain off of you as you're installing, because you're not going to have to do that lift and scoop method. So what we like to say is this is built to make your career last longer, having that roller foot on there. And I think there might be a better person to demo this tool coming up.
No, actually.
You sure?
There's not. However, we'll see the power roller in action on the 15FS because that's what we're most excited about with that power roller here. It's the addition of a power roller to an economic tool. It's really quite an advantage there. But what we are going to talk about is the power nail advantage. And Matt had just kind of walked us into some of those features. I'm going to unzip that a little more. And then on the next slide, Matt will help talk about some of the internals of that tool, or more so continue the internal conversation. So as you've seen, there is definitely a difference between a standard foot and a rolling base. Again, when you change thicknesses of floor with the standard foot, you've got to change out this foot pad on the bottom. Now, if you have the flex adjustable power roller, well, that adjusts up and down to the thickness of your floor with an onboard lever. So you're not taking on pads, taking off pads. It's actually the tool itself adjusting to that floor with a real quick and easy adjustment. In addition to that, you will have noticed the handle difference. So Power Nail has, we say the standard 445. Well, when tools, ship from Power Nail, kind of the standard version of that tool considers, what type of handle is going to go on that tool. For our standard base tool, so 445 FS, it's going to have what we call the long handle. For the 445 Power Roller, we're going to have the extra long handle. Matt had shared with us that 445 Power Roller is designed to help make your career last longer, to work more easily, to be easier on you and your body as the installer. So that's why we give you a couple more inches, which really helps you stand up straighter as you work. So it takes stress and strain off of the back. And then it also brings, and I'm just going to go back to our 445 power roller here. You can see with this extra long handle, it even comes out right over the wheels. So that brings your center of gravity, your balance is right over the wheels of that tool. So it's much easier to control this while exerting less wrist movement, less stress on the wrist. So we're making it easy on your back. We're making it easier on the wrist, to where all you have to worry about is actuating that tool with your mallet as you're working with it. So kind of a long explanation there on the handle. Sorry about that, guys.
Tyler, one more thing on that extra long handle is you'll notice that fin below the handle is really sticking out far too. That's going to allow you to get your hand or your fingers on that to really help you steer that tool as you're installing it a lot better than that shorter fin that's on the standard foot base. Exactly.
And yet again, going back to the wrist, to where you're not going to have to turn the tool by twisting your wrist. You're going to keep it there in the nail pocket with your fingers. And once you feel it, you get it immediately. As soon as you put hands on it, you feel it there on the wood in the nail pocket. You feel the difference as it moves. Okay, and I will just open this one up for Maddie to kind of dive in further. We do have one of our core tools. And again, these are all manufactured in the US. The 445s are at our plant. We have dedicated hot CNC machines cranking these bodies out. And you'll see that we've put quite a bit of thought into the function of these tools, even as far as the cartridge that holds your drive blade that actually gets driven by the air. All of that operates within a steel sleeve. So that means the actual body of the tool never experiences any of the wear or any of the grinding that can occur. Say if you don't have a filter on your air, you've got metal shavings that sometimes get sucked up by the air compressor, get blown into the tool, or it's just dirt and grime. So that's going to keep that tool in prime working condition for you as the professional for the length of your career. Internals, yeah, these are all movable, wearable parts. Those will wear out. However, the tool itself, this overall tool, is well protected from that wear. Now, Maddie's going to explain for us what's going on with our seals.
Yeah, so the difference that we have with the seals, and I think it's something to really I think assist you in your longevity of your tool, at least on the maintenance side of it, is we actually use a U-cup seal instead of a standard O-ring. So with that U-cup seal, when that air shoots through the tool, the U-cup actually catches the air and expands when your piston's going up and down. So what that's going to allow you to do is you will eventually get some shavings or something in there that could potentially cause a tear. And so with the U-cup seal expanding, even though it has a tear in it, that expansion allows or causes that seal to hold the seal tight longer than a standard O-ring, because if that O-ring gets a tear in it and the air goes through there, the air is going to leak through there. So what that U-cup seal is going to do is it's going to keep those insides lasting longer, or that seal lasting longer, so you're not going to have that maintenance as frequent as you would with that standard O-ring. So that's a huge advantage that we have versus the other people out on the street, is you're not having to shelf a tool or drop a tool off to get repaired as frequently as the other guys.
Exactly. And it's just all about friction there. The decisions that have been made in the design of these tools is to cut down friction at every point. That's with that U-cup. We call it a U-cup. It's almost like an umbrella underneath of there. So rather than just like an O-ring where it's one, solid round piece of rubber, it actually balloons out whenever it catches that air. Whenever it balloons out, it drives the drive blade down, puts the fastener in the wood. However, then on the return cycle, whenever there's no longer air ballooning that, it contracts. And as it contracts, it allows the entire drive blade to move back up, and it's not rubbing. So you'll get twice as long of a life out of these types of seals, if not more, than you will O-rings that are constantly touching the side of the inside of that sleeve. Now, In addition to that, even the dry blade itself of this piece here, you see it's nice and shiny, and we'd like to say, well, we just want things to look good even on the inside. But that serves a purpose too. It's anodized to keep it moving smoothly inside of that tool to yet again cut down on any friction, and also to make sure that these last as long as they possibly can. As you know, compressors and compressed air, it's going to put moisture inside of that tool. So we don't want there to be any rust or any corrosion on any of the moving parts. So just another note there about some of those internals.
Thank you, Tyler. That also means, guys, too, um, we don't talk about this enough, I think, but I mean, oil your tool is very important. Obviously, the lubrication there is going to help maintain these parts a lot longer. But drain that compressor to avoid picking a lot of moisture in that tool, because again, we don't want any rust or anything like that that restricts or causes more damage to the inside of that tool. So I think just the basic maintenance of your compressor and your tool, I think is something that I think gets overlooked and not talked about enough. But the internals really is only as good as the guys who take the correct steps to maintain those things longer than they or longer than they should be.
I think we need to start doing like a GI Joe PSA type deal.
I think we should. Yeah.
And also, kids, remember, oil your tools after every 8 hours of use.
Exactly. Yeah, and don't forget to drain that compressor.
Right. Okay, good to go. Let's move forward here. All right, so we had mentioned that the Model 15 FS and FSPR are the newest additions to Power Nail's fleet of 15 gauge flooring staplers. You can see that it does resemble a number of other tools out in the field with the detachable handle, but we have made a number of improvements that we feel makes this a superior tool to anything else that is out there at a superior price. It is Power Nail's value stapler. So it's going to drive a 5/8 inch to 3/4 inch domestic wood floor. It's going to adjust the same way as the 445 standard foot does. That's with the shims on the bottom. Again, UHMW plastic, so it's non-marring, but whenever you use it, you'll still have to pick it up and set it down each time. It does have a detachable handle, so now we're trying to accommodate anybody out there that wants to work closer to the wood. You'll see some videos here coming up where we show that. And again, I don't think we can kind of pound this home hard enough. It is our value stapler. This is going to get you kind of into the trade as quickly and as painlessly as possible. You can start putting those floors down at a great deal. We're going to talk about some of the internals a little bit later in the presentation, and that's really where this tool shines compared to anything else out there. I'll let Maddie talk about that once we get to it. But here, now we've got some hack out there trying to use this tool.
Thanks, you-bets.
Thanks, buddy. PPE all day. Do you see my goggles?
I do.
Yeah.
Each tool comes with one. That's it.
What's that?
Each tool comes with a safety goggle set. So.
Right, they do. That's right, they do.
Knuckleheads like you. Is this tool jammed?
Okay, yet again, pick in place. So picking it up before it goes back down each time, just trying to keep that floor nice and safe. There we're using the double head 3MI white mallet.
Just notice how quiet that tool is.
Yeah, it's really nice, isn't it? The whisper, the 15FS whisper. Okay, let's get over to the Model 15FS Power Roller. Maddie, take it away.
Yeah, so what you're going to see with this, and again, very similar to the standard 15FS lineup. It's got the detachable handle, 5/8 to 3/4 inch domestic. But this one here does have the Power Nail flex foot roller base system. So it's going to have the same adjustable base with wheels on it that the 445 FS, the 445 LS and the 50P flex power roller, same foot base as all those, where you've got an easy lever to adjust the different thicknesses on that without having to use the shim. But here, again, with our value collection that we have on the 15FS, this one is going to be your most economical and value roller-based tool out there. Now, there's other ones that have the roller foot on there as well, but with the quality of roller foot that Powernail offers, with the wheel system we have, it's going to be your most affordable rolling power stapler that you're going to see out there. So what I would like to mention too is the 15FS power roller, the 15FS standard foot, and all the 445s that we've shown you in this presentation. All of those do come with the tube of oil and with the 3MI white mallet cap that we have, or mallet with the white cap to use as well. So there's some added value with each of these tools that you buy.
Absolutely, and just not to forget Powernail service. Whenever you look at one of our tools, we support every part of that tool. Now, we talk about our USA made tools, and then we do have import tools, but it doesn't matter where it's been made. Powernail understands how important best in class support is, and we understand that if a tool goes down and you're off the job for a day, we've cost you money. That is never what we want to do. So we support each and every single one of our tools fully with every replacement part available. That way, should anything ever go down on you, we can absolutely get you what you need back up and running and back on that job.
Good point.
Oh, look at those knee pads. I think I know who's using this tool. All right, so here's the 15FS power roller in action. Now, we've seen the standard models in use so far, but let's pay attention to just how much quicker or more quickly you can work with a rolling tool.
And real quick, as you noticed when Tyler was loading that tool at the beginning, all of our staplers have a very convenient top load option on that magazine. So it's going to be a lot easier to load. As you saw him pull back and it locks, and those rows just slide right on top of there, and then you unclick it and go. So I just wanted to point that out that we didn't mention before, but go ahead, Tyler.
Great point, buddy. Oh, I'm going, man.
Yeah, I mean, just the ease, no up and downs, no risk of scuffing floors, man. You're just rolling and going. So I think what I've found in the field that I've noticed is, most guys are, I'm fine, I don't need the roller, I've been doing it this way. Once you try it, man, I'm gonna tell you what, it really, you can tell the difference of the lack of just stress on your body when you're using this tool. And the nice part is, as you're going left to right, as you're rolling it, it does have a little degree change or little degrees in the wheels that actually keep that tool drawn into the wood, so you're not going to find yourself, going off track and driving your staple into places it shouldn't be driven. So for your left-hand installers out there, we apologize, but for the right-handers, man, that left to right movement when you're installing it is designed to help keep that tool on track for you.
Absolutely.
I guess we could have discussed that when we showed the base on the next one, but.
All right, now, and as we had mentioned before, right, you can use these tools with the handle, or you can take that handle off. We'd seen it with the handle off for the 15FS standard foot, but here's even a rolling tool. If you want to work, closer to that floor, bent over like a hairpin, like I am right here, it's possible. So here's just another demonstration of that tool. Now, Matt had mentioned how much easier this makes it. What I want to point out is that I'm using an aluminum mallet. So this thing is under 2 pounds. It's like 1.7 pounds. So this tool, it doesn't take much of any type of force to get that thing to drive that staple. So here you go. You can just see, lightly tap, 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 all the way down with an aluminum mallet. So it does make it quite a bit easier. Okay, Maddie, you want to talk about the Powernail advantage with the Model 15FS?
Yeah, one thing we forgot to mention too on the 15FS is it does have a nice, simple 2-screw gate plate removal to clear jams out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another feature that I think we overlooked when we were talking about the tools. So
I think you're right.
But yeah, so there's a part of the Powernail advantage. But Tyler, if you want to go ahead and play this while I'm talking.
Yeah.
The probably the biggest advantage to this value model that we have is what you see here on the screen, and this is our dry blade assembly replacement piece for the 15FS model, standard or roller. The nice part about this is it's a single part replacement. So you're not going to have to go through a bunch of seal kits to replace, or replace dry blades or replace anything in there. This is the only part inside there that you're going to have to replace if anything happens. And the really nice part is the part isn't that expensive. You're well under $100 on this part, buying through distribution to have on hand. So the cool part about this is, rather than having 5 or 6 of these staplers in your van lined up on the shelf that you need to take in for repairs, every other month or every month, just have this dry blade assembly in your van, because you can actually do this repair on the job site once you get familiar with everything and be able to do it. So you're going to have, a couple $100 in parts versus a couple grand in tools in your van to help you keep the job going. And I don't know, maybe a half hour at most part or swap out if you need to do that. So I know I've done it before, and I can truly say if I can do it without even using the vise and stuff like that, I guarantee you a true professional out there would be able to do it way easier than me.
Yep.
So this is a huge advantage to have. And I hate to say it, but even over a 445 with those U-cup seals and stuff like that, getting inside of those tools can be a pretty heavy task to do.
Mm-hmm.
Having this simple one part replacement, man, it is a huge advantage to have, not only on the power mill front, but versus other competitors out there. That's about all I can say on it.
Excellent. And I think, Matt, it'll be a great idea for you and I to get our put our heads together and make kind of an infield or on-site dry blade replacement video. And I think we'll put that out this month since we're focusing on these tools. It would just be a good resource to have, and also to show that we're not just blowing smoke. We want you guys to know that we believe in what we're talking about here, and we've been there and done it.
Get ready for the outtake reel, folks.
Very good. Okay. Let's move forward here. So here, we've got this guy that just doesn't ever shut up. Matt's going to run us through an excellent demonstration of really what the advantage is to that power roller base.
Maybe.
Matt is going to run it. Maybe. And maybe. I don't think that the video is going to work. So my apologies there. Matt, if you don't mind, we'll just go to the very next slide, and you can give us kind of the rundown based off of the base itself.
Yeah, so what you'll see, I mean, you can see the lever that is your easy adjustment. There's 2 screws on the back side of that flex foot that you'll loosen up. You don't take them out, you just loosen them to allow that lever to slide that wheelbase up and down to adjust to your thicknesses. And the nice part with our tool is the wrench actually comes with the roller foot. So there's a nice little holster that it has that Allen wrench will fit in there, so you'll know exactly which wrench to use. Another nice part about the roller foot is it comes with 6 wheels, and these are a polyurethane coated wheel, all 6 of them. So you got the four cruiser wheels, I guess we'll call them, but then what you really can't see, you can see the first one on the front side of that roller foot. There's 2 big wheels on that roller foot that are really going to help you stay on the tongue of the product. But really, as you're banging that tool to drive that staple in, those wheels are going to ease the force of that tool hitting the surface. So you're going to really reduce the risk of damage on the surface of that product when you're hitting that tool on or driving those staples in. So the really nice part is all these parts, if something does wear out or get damaged, as Tyler mentioned before, we have every part, replacement part, every serviceable, everything's done within our facility that we can help you out there. So if you have a roller foot on your tool, obviously it'd be nice to have a spare set on hand, so when that does roll or wear out, you'll be able to replace those wheels and keep the job going. So that's pretty much it. The cool part with these is you can see we sell these aftermarket too. So if your tool is a standard foot now you can purchase these roller foots and convert your standard foot to a roller foot with a four screw swap out. So it's very, very easy. And every video that you saw, with the dry blade assembly swap out and stuff like that, even the roller foot conversion, all those videos are on our website at powernail.com under our resources tab. So you'll be able to look and really figure out how to do it yourself by watching a great guy, Bill Schwer, swap all those out, who recently retired. Man, he's been doing it for a long time. So you're going to get a view of history, so to say, a Power Nail history of watching Bill Schwer do a lot of these repairs and swap outs and stuff. So
fantastic. Thank you, Matty. That's perfect, bud. And the only thing I want to point out is that there is a specific conversion kit to the 445 and the 15FS, and you'll just see the primary difference just right here on the top of that foot. One of them has to be bored out somewhat in order for the bolts to go in. So there is a specific conversion kit for the 445 model and the 15FS. So if you're looking for that conversion kit, just make sure that your part numbers line up.
And go to the website and you can click on the tool and see what's what. So everything's there: schematics, repair videos, and parts numbers, and everything that you can find.
But then again, if you're not in front of a computer, or if your service is sketchy, or if you're like me and you just prefer to deal with a human, call Power Nail. We're just north of Chicago in Lake Zurich, Illinois. 847-847-3000 gets you to us. It gets you to a human being right off the bat. And we have an excellent technician who has stepped up and taken the well, nobody will ever take the place of Bill Schwer. However, this young man is going to and is presently doing an excellent job. And Terrence will help you with whatever it is that you need, and he'll help get you squared away with the right parts.
You come up with a jingle for that
847-847-3000. Call now. Okay, here we go. And that brings us to the very last slide, ladies and gentlemen. So one last piece here is that, Matt, if I go to a participating dealer for Power Nail's June 2021 roadmap program, do I only get the model 445 or 15FS if that's what I'm buying?
You get a brand new car. No, I'm just kidding. No, we have actually come up with a nice travel mug with a really nice Power Nail logo on it. High quality. I think we went with the 16-ouncer.
We did.
But yeah, this one, it's going to be for everybody. You can do hot, you can do cold, whatever you want to put in there. It is a sharp looking mug, just like the guy right above my head, right there. Sharp looking mug you got. So, but yeah, reach out to a participating Power Nail dealer. So the participating dealer is one that has bought into the promo and has jumped on board with it. So I would think it'd be a great opportunity for you to nudge your typical, your consistent place that you shop to jump on board with Power Nail and take advantage of this free mug.
Absolutely. And any questions that anyone has, I'm sure that there are plenty that Matt and I did not answer, as we were getting silly and running through this presentation. But please feel free, reach out to Matt or myself. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. Again, you can just call the office and say, hey, that Tyler guy was talking some nonsense on a Zoom presentation. I want to ask him some questions about it, and they'll connect you with us.
Or if you can autograph, just let us know.
Yeah, that too. Autographed Power Nail mugs.
If you're liking this, and we'll autograph it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Very nice. As always, thank you.
Oh, put our face on that mug. That's what we should.
Oh yeah, there we go. A vinyl wrap.
Next time.
Next month.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Thank you again, everyone, for your time, for sitting through this, tolerating Matt and myself. We really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, don't be shy. Reach on out. We'd be happy.
Always appreciate the support too, guys. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts to support Power Nail.
There we go. Okay, everyone, take care and be well.
See ya. How long was it?